That's not gonna work. That's not.
And then
gonna
you
work.
talk to every character, and they're like, I'm done talking to you.
Yeah.
I'm done talking to you. I said what I had to say, and I'm like, what the fuck? Hello and welcome. My name is Alexander Gonzalez, and with me today is my good old friend, J.E.
Hey, that's me.
And please remember that we are not game devs. How are you doing today, Jay?
I'm doing okay. I'm a little tired. Been working a lot, but that's just how
Good
work
for you.
goes, I guess.
Yes, I have been working the same amount. I am
sure.
only, but I am tired as well. But those are not the states of energy levels that we are talking about today. Today we are creating something new. Every week, We Are Not Game Devs will create a new exciting video game idea that we have always wanted to play, but do not have any knowledge or know how to create the wonderful experience that are video games. And today is my turn to present We Are Not Game Devs 170th IP. Let's begin with this basic concept. I want to make a game where, and I'm not too judgy about everything else, I just want to make a game where you have to choose different elements that you're kind of born into, affinities. And due to that, it changes the nature of the game, your abilities, and how you fight. So I want there to be like a water style, a lightning style, a wind style, and a fire style. And that changes everything from the weapons.
Style.
Yeah, rock style, whatever.
I was like, so you want to make an Avatar: The Last Airbender game?
Almost, but I want it to be more RPG-ish than that, where there's certain weapons that you can use based on your style, certain abilities you can use, armors, even like mounts that you're affinity to. I want to go all the way.
That'd be cool. So how I already envisioned this game, and I know you didn't play this game, but bear with me. I'll kind of try to explain it. Is Biomutant, a recent game that came out this year, was actually kind of like this. Not exactly the same, of course. And I'm just gonna take my influence with my time with Biomutant, which I do have to get back to, by the way. I don't know when that's gonna ever happen. But the way that game had it done, and I kind of like the structure of it, is each tribe that you can pick from as your starting tribe has their own, number one, fighting style, and number two, weapon of choice. And so if you pick the water tribe, for example, maybe you could only use, if you like, as your weapons, maybe you could find different versions of this weapon, but like the halberd or maybe like nunchucks or something. And then you have a specific fighting style for that. And then eventually maybe you could start using your element as like a magic power and then actually use whatever.
And combine it with your fighting style. Like
exactly.
It's like natural through there. And I want it to be where you start off in different areas depending on what elemental style you choose. So that will be your different tribes you turn into.
Yeah. And how about this as an interesting replayability aspect and story aspect? What if in this world, so every time you start a new game, you pick a new tribe, and I do want this game to do what most games don't do, because it is a lot of work, but we're in theory here. We could just do whatever we want. So every game is going to have, or every playthrough of a new tribe is going to have a unique story for that, like, main story. Maybe all the side quests might be the same. Maybe there'll be a difference here and there, like, because, if you're part of the water tribe, you'll get water tribe side quests, whereas you won't get the fire tribe side quests because maybe the water tribe people know you as a character. But if you're out in the world and there's like this old man who wants you to go find him acorns or something, you'll still get that side quest no matter what tribe you pick. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, in this world, we'll have it so each tribe have allies and enemies that are constant no matter how many times you restart the game. The water tribe and fire tribe do not get along. And so if you play as the water tribe or the fire tribe, the main purpose of your story is to win whatever battle is there and other tribe interactions occur. And then you start a new game, you start all the way back from the beginning, you pick a different tribe, and you'll see how it'll play through. If maybe at first you pick the water tribe, they're like, I want to see the other person's perspective. And then you play the fire tribe, and then you see how that story goes on.
And what would be also really cool would be if like somehow like I want it to be where different tribes, like let's say the water tribe, the water tribe is just to go counterintuitive because everyone likes water, is trying to take over the fire tribe and trying to take over the land. But like let's say that the earth tribe is trying to just amass resources and expand.
Hmm.
So they're just trying to create new land. So it would be like very different stories because I don't want it to be every single one. It's like, well, let's see what the war's like from their side.
Yeah, no,
Maybe there's some
exactly,
nations who
exactly.
don't have war at all.
No, I don't think it's like that either. Where like maybe if you join the Lightning tribe, you start next to the Earth tribe, and you're like, oh, they're doing their own thing, and so you go over to the Fire tribe and you start helping them in their war effort. Or maybe you have a war with a completely different tribe, and there's a whole nother story there. Or like like each tribe, you're not gonna be playing the same wars and stuff. Only if there's a like water tribe fire tribe situation, you
Hmm.
know what I mean? Maybe it's lightning
Yeah.
and I don't know, what were the elements that you said?
Like lightning, wind, fire, water, earth.
Maybe lightning and wind, they don't have like a full on war like the fire and water do, but maybe lightning and wind have more of like a political dispute, like a Cold War
Or,
situation, and you got to
yeah.
go figure that out.
And it would just be cool if there was like certain things like the wind tribe was trying to make it so that their land, once again, like their kingdom, rises into the air. So it's like a thing where they want to make it where the way it was for the old ones, where their kingdom was once flying through the air using just wind power,
Yeah.
and they want to do that again and rise above.
What do you think of this idea as well, where you play as all these tribes, and every time you get to the ending, um, whatever thing happens, so you play. I know I've been talking about these two tribes extensively, but it just makes my examples easier. Whereas you
Mhm.
win with the water tribe, and you beat the story, and your main character is like, "Yeah, I beat them," and you're like looking down the playable character on the fire tribe, and you have him hooked, and then it
Mhm.
kind of just ends the game, and the game starts running credits, and then it happens the same on the fire side. You beat the water tribe, and you're about to like end them, and you're about to win and everything, and then the credits start rolling. You do this for every single tribe, where right before it seems like everything's to conclude, that's when the trailer or the credits start rolling. Once you beat every single tribe, it unlocks a new tribe that unlocks, and it's like the divine tribe or something. And at that moment where all this is happening around the entire continent, like some divine power shoots down and stops everything, and all the progress that you made kind of gets wiped out because it's like
What if it's
now.
not the divine tribe, but it's something like the time tribe, like
Oh
something
yeah,
like the
sure.
Watchers,
Oh
like
yeah, I like that.
they've been in the background this whole time, kind of watching everything, and then they start stepping in and using their time powers.
Uh-huh. And then from then on, I think it could be like a what if it's kind of like all the main playable characters from each tribe band together to stop the time tribe or whatever. And like from then on, there is a mechanic where if you press a certain combination of buttons, let's say like the whole game, you could hold RL1 to bring up a wheel, and that wheel will
Hmm.
like do it so you have different throwables or something. Like that's something that's always been in the game, but then a new addition comes up to that wheel, and that lets you switch between different characters depending on the situation that happens in this last story arc. And I like the idea of this time tribe. They make the way they talk makes it seem like they're very much like, and I know this is a normal time
Hmm.
enemy story thing where they're always like, we know what's going to happen, this is supposed to happen, but really in
Yeah.
reality they're more like the time people from fucking Invincible, where they're like, they think that what they're doing is right because their time they could see everything, but really they're just trying to further their own purposes, kind of like also in Loki recently.
Yeah, you find out that the time tribe has like they take this holier than thou attitude, but they've really taken down a whole lot of other people before this
Exactly,
to
like they're
expand.
they're not
They
actually the good people that they seem to be.
Yeah, they just think because their power is so strong that it that they should use it.
Yeah. And the only reason why I want this time tribe element after you beat the whole game is if there were ever to be a sequel, we can't have all these alternate history path things happening with all the
Hmm.
tribes. You know what I mean? We need one focus ending to the story. So if there was ever a sequel, there's something to jump off of instead of being like, we released the second game, and guess what? Fire Tribe did win in our canon. And so that's where we're going
Yeah,
on with this story.
how that happens. Yeah, no, it doesn't matter how good your Wind Tribe guy was. Fire was always meant to win. In fact, you picked wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. So to avoid that, I want like one official ending setting that takes off and leaves it open to a united idea of what the future of this world is.
Okay. What kind of weapons, like let's fill this out a little bit. What kind of weapons do you expect each tribe to use?
Fire Tribe uses the bow, just a long stick. And like you said, usually, like let's say Avatar, for example, the Fire Tribe's usually the ones that are super advanced and super strong and want to take everyone over. Maybe in this game, they're super poor and humble. And like maybe they've been in like civil unrest for so long, their entire land has been decimated. And now they're just trying to rebuild and they finally have a good leader, you.
Yeah.
His name's actually you, and he's like bringing the Fire Nation to a new era of prosperity until the Water Tribe comes in to destroy it all. And so their weapon is the bow. It's a very humble, simple weapon. And then maybe we could even take go into like Chinese mythology where it's like that mythical bow eventually that you get and it like extends out, you know, like Goku.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
So
think
the
that's the
bow
Monkey
staff.
King's thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I could see that working. I thought you were mentioning bow and arrows, but now I understand bow
yeah,
staff.
I see what you mean. Bow staff, yes.
Okay, and then the water tribe, I was thinking for some reason, I was thinking about those like what are those weapons called? Are they called doppelgangers that kind of go along your forearm? Like they run parallel?
The blades that go along
Yeah.
the forearm.
And then like they can extend it into like water and ice, and they can also throw ice daggers and stuff.
Sure, I like it. I don't know what they're called, but I know what you mean. They're like like forearm blades, like fins, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, Wind Tribe can use rapiers and spears
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, like
because they would just launch them.
yeah, more long distance, very thin, pointy weapons. Yeah. Earth can fucking just use their fists.
I was
And
thinking about
gloves and
fists
shit.
or like a hammer.
Hammer would be good. Yeah, I guess hammer would be great. Let's go with hammer, and then there could be a cool move in the game where you like summon like a rock mountain and you just fucking hit rocks off of it as projectiles. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's one of those things where like it can shatter just about any armor
Yeah.
too. Like earth people just shatter any armor. Okay. So we have that one down. And then lightning, I feel like it has to be like a sword. I don't know why.
A whip.
A whip?
Yeah.
Okay.
And every time you make the sound, it's like a sound of thunder that comes out instead.
And it stuns people. Yeah, I could see that.
And you like summon, like once you hit someone with a whip, it summons like thunder from the clouds, and it's like an area of effect type of situation.
Okay. All right. And what are the characters? How old are the characters going to be in this game, or can you decide? Like, do you want to make it where it's like any age really works?
No, I think it's gonna vary depending on the story of that character. So I like the idea of the Fire King or Lord or whatever being a young 20 something. Maybe the Water General that you play as is like a 50 something. The Air person, what if they're like 60 something but they look like they're 30?
Yeah, it's just something that Air has. Like they're just their own kind of tribe about.
They're like the elves kind of. They just look young even if they're super old. Earth people, I kind of see them kind of like dwarvish, kind of just like short and stocky.
Yeah, like their powers concentrated to themselves.
Yeah. And then lastly, lightning, maybe just I see them as like also middle-aged, maybe like 40 something.
And for some reason,
And
tattoos. You know,
sure,
tattoos and piercings.
lots of tattoos. Also see them tall and lanky. Like I just see them as
Yeah.
tall, like skinny motherfuckers. Sure, and I like the idea that they're tatted up. I see
And
this
have
game.
piercings too that conduct.
Oh, that's cool. Kind of like Pain from Naruto.
Yeah.
I also see this game being very Studio Ghibli in art style, where it's like Nino Kuni, like where it's just
Okay.
very
Almost
bright
like a folklore
colors.
tale.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Maybe all the elemental magic effects have more of like a water painting look to them, not so
Hmm.
like defined, but they look kind of like papery or watercolory. I don't know.
I like that. So
Maybe
it's
the
gonna have like a
real elements, like if there's lightning and rain in the game, they look photorealistic. But every time you use magic to like use your tribe's power, it does look different than
Mhm.
the real life elements.
I like that. Yeah, it's like stemming from, and we can explain that away. Like it's stemming from the human energy or the energy of the earth
Yeah,
coming
there's
together.
something like that in the atmosphere. There's a force. It surrounds us, penetrates us. Yeah, that whole thing.
It is us and everyone else. All right. We haven't discussed what type of game is this. We could make it where it's not open world, but it's like single player kind of mission based with maybe some hallways. We can make it open world, or we can just make it just missions.
I see it as a action based, and I would say actually like semi open world where like I kind of see it more like of an older school open world game where there's just giant open areas. You go from section to section and it's just an expansive open area, but
Hmm.
limited to we just make mountains or water to block your way out. But you could go from one city to the next city and you could pick up side quests in between. Um but like maybe kind of like Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, where you walk out and there's Hyrule Field, and from Hyrule Field there's paths that go to different sections, and you go to those different sections, and they'll have their own little open world that you could explore for
Yeah.
that tribe type of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
like
like
Tomb
there's
Raider, right? That's how Tomb Raider had it, where it's
yeah,
like you
Tomb
had
Raider
open
also kind of had
areas.
it that way. Last of
Hmm.
Us, or not Last of Us, Uncharted 4 kind of had it like that. But I kind of think there's like one central main area, and that kind of is like the neutral ground where maybe all the tribes haven't really claimed most of this area yet, and maybe there you could see like the Earth tribe, their land is going further into this neutral ground more than anyone else is, where the air tribe's not even there at all because they're trying to build up instead of down.
Hmm.
And like the lightning tribe is kind of there, fire and water is there as well, and they're kind of
And
battling it
Earth
out there.
builds down too. So
Yeah,
Earth builds down,
right. And
and
I
everyone will make the Earth the kind of persecuted tribe because everyone has fears based on a long history that the Earth tribe's going to attack them from underneath
mm,
because no one knows where the Earth tribe is.
right. I also like the idea that maybe eventually, when in this game, when you play as an Earth tribe, you can do it immediately. But when you play as the other tribes, you can't do this until you do some side quest in the Earth Kingdom. But at any time, you could like use a special item the Earth tribe gave you, and you plant it on the ground, and then you go underground, and that's kind of like the fast travel system, where you're
Oh
like in
yeah.
this subterranean world, and that's all just one instance in its own, and then you could either end
Hmm.
up in the Earth Kingdom or dig yourself up in any other area that you want.
There's like this highway that they built underneath, almost like Elon Musk, like boring tunnel kind of
Oh,
thing.
that'd be cool. Yeah, what if the Earth Kingdom's technologically like super advanced, just no one knows because all
And
their
people
stuff
just
is
hate them.
underground.
Yeah. And they're
Yeah,
just like really secretive. And people are like, we don't know what the fuck Earth Tribe's doing.
but maybe they're just really good people actually, when you find out as you play as them. Do you want to also kind of like have it so the order of tribes that you could play their stories in unlock at different times? Like you can't play as the Earth tribe until like you play as two other tribes already.
I think we should, just that way people are like, what is with that Earth tribe? And then once they try it, like, oh, this is cool. This is what they're talking about with the tunnels and everything. Almost like if you remember Dragon Age Origins way back in the day, how that felt.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like you wanted to know what the other races were up to because like there was always little details sprinkled around. I want this world to feel alive like that.
Exactly. And yeah, like I see it. So the world is gonna be big, but it's not gonna be like
Too
it
big,
takes
right?
forever to get from one kingdom to the other kingdom. It could take you very little time, especially like we mentioned earlier that each tribe gets its own mount. So maybe you could get from point A to point B pretty quickly. Like I want to be not, of course, not Ocarina of Time size, because if you go back, that game's actually a lot smaller than you remember, but also at the same time bigger than you remember. But I wanted to have that same feel where you could go from Doom Mountain and then go all the way to Gerudo Desert pretty quickly if you spent the time to do it that way. And it'll be pretty easy to do, especially if you set it up like Ocarina of Time, where there's one hub area and then the branching paths just take you directly to each kingdom.
And they're all on an island. Fuck it, they're all on an island, you know?
Sure.
That way it makes sense. It's not a world. There's not nations here. They're
Right.
just all trying to do this island with their superpowered people.
And at the
Now,
beginning, they were all one tribe, but they split when they discuss. And there was a point where one person could control all the elements, but that
Jesus.
fighting style has been lost to time until time comes back and brings.
Or
it
what
back.
if he tried to challenge the gods or whatever, and the gods split his power up?
Or he tried to go against. Yeah, maybe that's where the divine tribe comes into play, where he succeeded in getting rid of the divine powers, but at the same time, he had to split his powers into different sections or whatever.
Most definitely.
Cool.
All right, what type of music are we listening to here? I'm thinking probably like a classical, very muted, nothing too crazy. Different music depending on the tribes too would be cool. Like just different little, themes.
I was gonna say this is gonna be a lot of work, but this game's a lot of work already. So each time when you play as a different tribe, there's gonna be music for every area, right? But depending on what tribe you play, it's gonna be a different iteration of that same exact song. You know what I'm saying? So you know how like Overwatch or like Apex Legends will have a theme, but the theme is different sometimes for different occasions. We'll have that exact same thing where every area will have a song, but depending on what tribe you're playing as, that song will sound different. You know what I mean? Maybe we could make one score with like 4 elements or 4 instruments and then switch out those instruments depending on the tribe and the feel of that tribe. You know what I mean? But it's the same exact score.
Earth tribe's gonna have more drums. Wind tribe's gonna have more air instruments. Water tribe, I don't fucking know, piano. Yeah, piano's water.
Works.
Yeah,
Blowing,
or
like-
harp. Harp sounds like water.
Yeah. But you get what I mean. It's every tribe will have its own musical styling, but the music itself is the same.
Yeah, no, I get you. So, how much are you willing to pay for this game?
This is a full-scale $70 game.
That's what I'm thinking too. $70. Full pop. All right, Jay, let's get that timer out because we got to name this game.
And go.
I got nothing.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That was good. Clash of the Elements.
Battle of the Time.
Battle of the Time. What's that game about? Elements? About different Okay.
going against the all-powerful time person.
Okay. Um, Forces of nature. Hmm? Hmm?
Sure, we'll go with Forces of Nature. 1 minute 5 seconds.
Wow, awesome. Forces of Nature is a game where you play as one person from many different tribes that have specialized and have powers related to nature, including earth, wind, fire, water, and lightning. And you must play through, understand the politics, advance your culture's efforts, and discover where you fit in the world in Forces of Nature. All right, Jay. I think we have a game here. What do you think? Would this be a game that would be fun? And would you play it?
Yeah, I think I would definitely play it a lot. And I think it would be fun. I'm just worried with how much we jam packed into this one game. How long would you estimate one tribe's story to take? Would you say each tribe is maybe a
10
15 to
hours?
20 hour
Uh,
experience,
I'd
or
say
is it
10.
10 hour experience, like 8 to 10 hour experience,
Yeah,
even
short
with
and
all
sweet.
the side quests and all that stuff happening?
Side quest 12 to 13 to 15.
Okay. Yeah, so if it's shorter like that and it's just like a quick snippet of each tribe's life, and then we get one final story, maybe like 5 or 6 missions or whatever, um, for your battle against time, yeah, maybe I'll play the hell out of it.
Yeah, it'll leave you wanting.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And
All right.
yourself?
Oh yeah, I mean, it goes without saying I'd be trying to play this game. I'd be like, I think it's one of those games that'd be fun to talk about too with other people as they chose different tribes and they're doing different things, and just one of those games where it change depending on who you are as a personality, it changes who you want to be.
Right. For sure. Um, but yeah, I would definitely give it a shot.
Awesome. Now that we have a complete game here, what studio would you choose to make Forces of Nature?
So I mentioned them earlier here, but Experiment 101 from THQ Nordic, and they're the guys
Mm-hmm.
behind Biomutant, where um it's not exactly the same, but they had this whole idea, like I mentioned, where there's multiple tribes, and you could pick who you want to choose to help their efforts, or you could try to recruit them to your own, or go to war with them. And each tribe had their own weapon style, had their own like culture and look to them. So I think, you know, they could just take all they did with that, and instead of just making one story where you're like the stranger that's coming in and you're trying to help all these tribes and you get to pick which tribes you want to try, instead they just
Mm-hmm.
make 6 different storylines and they all converge to one point, and each of the places you start out at has their own culture and story, and that's the whole thing of the game. And yeah, so I think Experiment 101 could do something pretty cool with it.
I agree with you. Easy for me would be Sucker Punch. They've already done Infamous with the lightning, and they've done a bunch of different superhero stuff. So if they could combine like some of that gameplay into one game, they'd have a knockout of the park.
Uh, for me, the other guys that could probably do this would be like Square Enix, just in
Mm-hmm.
general, but they have, I guess, People Could Fly, which is the guys that just recently made Outriders. But really, a lot of Square Enix, like more Western like studios, could probably take a tackle at this and do something pretty cool with it.
I'm thinking so. And then the easiest one for me would be Studio 5 or Studio Ghibli, and they're the ones that made Nino Kuni.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would have a hard time with the powers. And then besides that, I was thinking is it Ninja Theory, the people who do Devil May Cry, but split up all of Dante's moves in different tribes and then make the powers elemental.
Yeah, well, Dante, you could equip different weapons, and that changes the power or the move sets that he can do, I think.
Exactly.
Which is exactly what this is, yeah.
Right? And with that, our 170th IP has gone gold. We hope you look forward to this experience that will probably never release. You can write to outboundgames@gmail.com if you have anything to patch into the game we create today. Also, give us feedback. We are still learning how to make this show better, and your feedback really helps. We have a Patreon. If you'd like to back our ideas, please head over to patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. Patrons receive episodes 2 days early and an extra podcast at the beginning, which you caught the tail end of our conversation at the beginning of this episode. That's patreon.com/wearenotgamedevs. If you liked our show, why not subscribe and give us all the stars on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Store, Spotify, YouTube, and more. If they ask for a review instead of reviewing our show, become your inner game critic and review Forces of Nature, the video game we just created today. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be back next Friday with another new IP. Again, my name is Alex Gonzalez.
And I'm Jay Yee.
Thank you, and please remember that we are not game devs.
Dude, I need to get a new chair. I don't know how much of this got picked up, but even if I move slightly, I get it. I get some of this. Get some of this action.
Yeah. Some good creaking.
Like even small movements.
It's the same for me.
Yeah. I don't hear it though on your end.
That's good. And I sit in the same set where I do work 8 hours a day. So I'm just like, bleh. I get so restless.
Yeah.
You're just going in on that chair. Aren't you ever worried that you're going to lean too far and it'll just snap?
Oh, dude, I think about it all the time. If I lean too far and one day the plastic has been worn out of years and years of me leaning back and just snaps and just fucking punctures through my spine and I'm disabled
I didn't
forever.
think about that. I just thought that you might hit your head on the floor.
Oh, no,
You just
no. I think this little support beam will split in half and my
your
spine
girlfriend
will fucking...
comes home and you're like, lift me off this. I've been impaled. Or do you take the chair with you to the hospital room? That way you stop the bleeding.
Oh, I don't think I'm surviving this. As soon as it punctures my spine, I'm probably going to be gone within like an hour.
Send me a text. I'll send an ambulance your way. Or you know what? I guess don't send me a text. Just send the ambulance your way.
Right?
Cut out the middleman.